come into a yard,
Yes.
you're coming in, what is the order that you would tackle things in? You would go and put up the bait bags?
Okay, so firstly, I would say the yard the yard owner, just take me to the place where you've got the most flies. Where do they congregate and stuff? So that'll tell you a lot about what's happening on the farm.
It's funny because I think you might find a lot of yard owners take you to the feed room because that's where the yard owners hang out, not at the muck heap, which is where they should hang out, maybe.
Yeah, and probably the kitchens. But so I think the biggest thing that I go and look at first is what is happening with their manure, because I mean that's 80% of it. So what are you doing with your manure? What does the bedding look like within the stables, right? And then I'll ask them, what are you currently using for fly control? Then they'll tell me, listen, A, B, C, and so on. Then I would ask them, listen, what other farms or what other animals are in the vicinity close to you? So that's
interesting. We often don't think about our neighbors.
Yeah, because that gives you an idea from if are the flies coming from somewhere or not. Where do I put my fly traps? How many do I put down? So that type of thing. A lot of people don't know. So then you put your fly traps, and you'll see which fly traps fills up first. Then you know, okay, predominantly that's the area that it might come from. If it's not breeding on your yard. So after that, then I'll ask them, listen, what you're using, and then they'll show me, and then I'll say, listen, show me how do you use it, because it's all about application.
That's true. What are you using and how are you using it?
Yeah, and
I had a friend who ate a suppository once, and the doctor was like, she says these anti-inflammatories just aren't working, and he was like,
this was a friend,
and she said, and she said, and she says, and it just didn't taste very nice at all, and he was like, oh. No, like that's not what it was. That's not what it was for. And she still said, like, I can never go back there again, you know?
No, for sure. So,
but everyone must work together, because I can imagine, like, let's say, you know, you want to go through at least 5 cycles or so before you can, let's say you see, okay, there's a massive explosion of flies. Now you're seeing the 20%. You can assume that there's 80% still in the ground, right? Yeah. So like 4 more.
Bad days are coming.
Right, bad days are coming. So then you want to start hitting it hard from your side. So then you'll do the baits and the fly spray and
change the muck heap.
The muck heap.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still got your neighbors, you know, so you need to speak to, the surrounding, get everyone involved. Everyone should be involved. Otherwise you're just kind of fighting it yourself. Yeah. And then you need to, even if the flies are gone, you need to still apply all of those things, otherwise because
stay on top of it through winter.
Yeah. So, and I think one of the things that actually depresses a lot of yard owners is like, listen, there's no breeding on my at my stables. We take out the muck, we transport it somewhere, maybe to Denny Mushroom Farm, I don't know, but we still have loads of flies.
Yeah.
And
I think that is quite disheartening for some.
Again, I've had clients who, like, they methodically collect all of the manure and they take it to the track across the road and put it on the track. Yeah. And I think we also tend to have, especially in high density areas, we have a little bit of an out of sight, out of mind approach.
Yeah.
And I think understanding that a fly can fly 5 kilometers is quite humbling, because you go, oh, okay, well that's how far out of, not my house, our neighborhood, we need to be.
And I mean,
moving.
I stay in Pretoria and we're in quite a big residential area. So there's no farm animals quite, close to our house. And I mean, listen, if my little mini schnauzer does its business, listen, it's like, so that just shows you that they do travel quite extensively.